You slide out of your mother somewhere in North America. You're wet and can't see anything around you. Your mother nudges you toward her belly with her nose, so you crawl forward until you feel her fur and latch onto feed. The milk is warm and fills your stomach quickly. Then you let go and lie still beside her. A few hours pass and your eyes start to open. The shapes around you are blurry at first, but then you see the curved walls of the lodge and a pool of water below the platform where you're lying. Your mother slides off the edge and drops into the water without a sound. You need to follow her, so you crawl to the edge and push yourself over. You drop straight down and sink under the surface. Your legs kick in every direction trying to find something solid, but there's nothing beneath you. Your lungs start to tighten, so you kick harder and your head breaks through the surface. You gasp once, then sink again. Your mother swims underneath you and pushes you upward with her nose, lifting your body until you're floating on top of the water. Another kit surfaces beside you and paddles past without struggling. You try copying their movement, kicking your back legs while your front paws paddle forward. You stay above the water for a few seconds, then your head dips under again. You thrash once and surface, then kick toward the nearest wall. Your front paws hit a stick and you grab it, pulling yourself onto the platform. You shake once and water streams off your fur, then you crawl back toward the spot where your mother is resting. You'll spend the next few days learning how to move through water without drowning, but soon, you'll need to learn what's waiting outside. You're 2 weeks old now. You've been swimming inside the lodge chamber for days, and your legs are stronger than they were before. Your mother dives through the underwater entrance and disappears, then your sibling follows her down. You need to see where they're going, so you take a breath and push yourself under the surface, swimming through the tunnel until you come out on the other side. You surface in the pond and look around. The water stretches wide in every direction, much bigger than the space inside the lodge. Your sibling is already swimming toward the far bank, where your mother is pulling branches into a pile. You paddle toward them, but something moves in the water near your feet. A large fish passes underneath you, and your legs jerk upward trying to get away from it. You kick harder and swim toward the shallow water near the edge, then climb onto the mud and stop moving. A bird lands on a rock a few body lengths away from you. You freeze and watch it, but then it spreads its wings and lifts into the air without coming closer. Your mother surfaces near the bank with a branch clamped in her teeth, then swims back toward the lodge. You need to follow her, so you slide into the water and dive through the entrance with your eyes open this time, making it through without hitting the sides. Inside, your sibling is already on the platform chewing on a piece of bark. You climb up beside them and shake the water off your fur, then lie down and rest. The pond is bigger than the lodge, and you're not the only thing living in it. Skip forward a bit, and you're 6 weeks old now. You swim to the bank and pull yourself onto land with your front paws, then walk toward a group of young willow trees growing near the water. Your sibling is already there chewing on a thin branch. You need to learn how to do this, so you move closer to a sapling and open your mouth, biting down on the wood as hard as you can. Your teeth scrape against the surface, but nothing breaks off. You adjust the angle and bite again, this time pressing deeper until wood splinters between your teeth. You keep chewing in the same spot, working through the branch layer by layer until it snaps and falls to the ground. You grab it with your front paws and start dragging it back toward the pond, but it catches on a root sticking out of the soil. You pull harder, twisting your body to the side until the branch comes loose and slides free. You reach the water and drop in with the branch still clamped in your mouth, then swim toward the lodge. Your sibling surfaces beside you and grabs the other end of the branch, pulling in the opposite direction. You both tug at the same time, and the wood splits down the middle, breaking into 2 pieces. You keep your half and swim toward the entrance, but the branch is too wide to fit through the opening. You turn it sideways and push it forward, forcing it through the gap until it slips inside, then you follow it in. Your teeth are sharp enough now to cut wood, but cutting it is one thing. Building with it is something else. You're 4 months old now. You're swimming near the dam where your mother and sibling are working, and the water level sits high against the stacked branches. Your sibling dives under the surface and comes back up with mud between their paws, then presses it into a small gap between 2 logs. You hear water rushing louder than usual, so you turn your head and look at the dam. A section near the middle starts leaking, and water pushes through the opening faster with every second that passes. Your mother swims over immediately and drags a thick branch toward the break, so you grab a stick from the bank and swim toward the same spot. But the current pulls you sideways, making it harder to stay in position. You wedge the stick into the gap and press down, but it slips out and floats away before it can hold. The leak gets wider, and water pours through the opening, making the pond level drop lower than it was before. Your mother forces a heavy branch across the break and shoves mud on top of it with her front paws, packing it down until it stays in place. You need to help, so you dive under and scoop mud from the bottom, then surface and press it against the wood where the water is still coming through. Your sibling swims over with more sticks and layers them on top of the branch, adding weight to the whole structure. The leak slows down, then stops completely, and the water level steadies again. The dam holds back the water, but it breaks more often than it stays whole. And one day, you'll have to build your own. Skip forward, and you're 1 year old now. The lodge feels smaller than it used to, and your body barely fits through the entrance when you swim in and out. Your mother pushes past you to leave, and your sibling follows her through the tunnel. You surface in the pond and start swimming toward the bank where the willows grow, but your mother moves in front of you and blocks your path to the dam. Then she lifts her tail and slaps it hard against the water, making a loud crack that echoes across the pond. You need to leave, so you turn around and swim in the opposite direction, away from the lodge. Your sibling surfaces near you and starts swimming the same way, but your mother slaps her tail again, this time closer than before. You both keep going, following the creek that flows downstream past the edge of the pond. The current grabs you and pulls you faster than you've ever moved, so you let it carry you forward while your sibling stays close beside you. You pass under fallen logs and through narrow channels where the banks are only a few body lengths apart. Then the creek widens into a slower section with calmer water. You stop paddling and let yourself drift, but your sibling keeps swimming and disappears around a bend ahead of you. You paddle to the bank and climb out onto the mud, then sit there alone watching the water flow past. You're on your own now, and if you want a place to live, you'll have to make it yourself. You're 2 years old now. You've been traveling for months, moving through streams and checking every narrow section you find. Then you come across a creek that flows fast between two banks, lined with willow and aspen trees. You need to build a dam here, so you cut a branch from the nearest tree and drag it into the water, wedging it between two rocks on opposite sides of the creek. Then another, building a foundation that stretches across the current. Water starts pooling behind the structure, but the flow pushes one branch loose and it floats downstream. You need to fix this, so you dive under and grab the branch, then jam it back into place with more force than before. You pile mud and stones on top of everything, packing it down tight so nothing else comes loose. Over the next few days, you keep adding more layers, and the dam grows taller with each branch you stack. The water behind it rises slowly, flooding the banks on both sides and creating a shallow pond where there used to be flowing creek. You cut larger logs from the aspen grove and drag them to the base of the dam, reinforcing the whole structure so it can hold more weight. Then one morning, you surface in the middle of the pond and look around. The water sits calm and still, and everything you built is holding together. You start cutting branches and pulling them into a pile in the center of the pond, stacking them on top of each other to form the beginning of a lodge. The dam is holding. The pond is yours. But you're not the only beaver looking for a place to settle. Skip forward a bit, and you're 3 years old now. You're working on a weak section of the dam, pushing mud into a small gap where water is leaking through. Then you hear splashing upstream, so you stop and turn your head to look. Another beaver swims into your pond, and they're larger than you with thick shoulders and a wide tail. They're moving straight toward the dam where you're working. You need to warn them off, so you swim toward them and lift your tail, then slap it hard against the water. But they keep coming without slowing down. You dive under the surface and swim directly at them with your teeth showing, then bite at their side when you get close enough. They twist their body and slam into your shoulder, knocking you sideways through the water. You both surface at the same time, and the water churns between you as you push against each other trying to gain position. You open your mouth and bite down on their tail, clamping your teeth tight. They thrash and pull away, ripping their tail free from your grip. You chase them toward the edge of the pond with your body moving as fast as it can, then slap your tail against the water again to make them leave faster. They dive under the surface and swim downstream past the dam, disappearing around the bend in the creek. You circle the pond once to make sure they're gone, then return to the dam and keep working on the gap where the water was leaking. You fought for this place, and you'll keep fighting for it if you have to. But soon, another beaver will arrive that you won't chase away. You're 7 years old now. Your dam is strong, your lodge is large, and 2 kits swim behind you in the pond. You climb onto the bank and walk toward a thick aspen tree that you've been cutting for the past few days. The trunk is nearly through, with only a thin section of wood still holding it upright. You need to finish this, so you open your mouth and bite into the last part, chewing steadily while wood chips fall at your feet. The tree starts to creak, so you step back and watch it tilt to one side. But the top catches on another tree beside it, and the trunk hangs there without falling all the way down. You need to free it, so you move closer to check the cut. The trunk shifts slightly but still doesn't drop. You bite at the base again, trying to break the last piece that's keeping it stuck. Then the tree suddenly snaps loose, and the trunk swings down faster than you can move away from it. It slams into your back and pins you against the ground. Your legs kick once trying to push it off, but the weight is too heavy and you can't get free. Then your legs stop moving. The tree settles across your body with its branches spread out over the bank, and the pond stays still. Above you, your kits surface near the lodge. One of them dives back under and swims toward the bank, already looking for wood to cut.